Yo, my people, what is cracking? Down here in Magdalena Bay in Baja California Sur of Mexico. And I'm down here working on the National Geographic Sea Bird, which is a small expedition ship. We are doing trips around the bay looking for wildlife, particularly for the California gray whales, but also in my case, looking for a ton of birds in the mangrove system as well. And so this video is going to be a little bit of a tour of what it's like to work down here and also what we've found along the way. I think you'll find it pretty exciting. This is kind of a second part series. In my last video, I brought you down here from my home in the Finger Lakes of New York. And so I hope you enjoy this little video here. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle up. It's gonna be a good time. Let's go, yo! All right, so we're just picking up the anchor here. You can see the sun is rising behind me. And way out in the distance, it'll be a little hard to see. There's a moon. Ah, you can see it there. Let's see how this goes. That's how we lower the Zodiacs here on the Sea Bird. You can see our buzz and Jenny going out there on the rub rail. Pick up the boat. Let's see how this goes. Jump into it and then unflip it from the crane. All right, so we're out here on Magdalena Island, walking up this arroyo, headed up to catch a view of the mighty Pacific. And along the way, taking some time to photograph and also to appreciate the botany of this desert environment. When I first started coming down here years ago, we always referred to this place as the Sonoran Desert. And recently, how you get botanists going is you try to debate that topic, whether it is actually still part of the Sonoran Desert or not. But I'll leave that for a separate discussion. One of my favorite plants to photograph when I'm down here is the Palo Adan. And you can see here, it's got some yellow leaves that kind of look like, almost like autumn. And it's also covered in these lichens, which is something that I've seen in great abundance here on Magdalena Island. You can also hear there's a couple of ravens squawking in the distance. This is a good place to come and look for black-throated sparrows. There's actually quite a bit of interesting geology here as well. But quickly check out this galloping cactus behind me. Looks like it's just kind of flowing over the landscape. Looking forward to exploring around. There's quite a few flowering plants as well. Check out these guys, which I believe are loosely related to the morning glories. Check them out. And hear a couple chirping birds. So it's kind of first thing in the morning. We're just walking up this arroyo. The sun is cresting. And yeah, we're just getting stoked, yo. Let's go. Alright, we're just wrapping up a first successful day here in Baja California. You can see the sunset behind me. Just out here taking some pictures with the wide angle lens. Maybe I'll splice a couple of them in here. But yeah, getting stoked, yo. It's nice to be back, and yeah, just a great little moment in time here. Let's go, yo! Hey, how's it going? Yo, my people, what is cracking? Just another day here in Baja California, looking out at a relatively foggy shoreline. We've been kind of waiting for the fog to break a little bit. You can see over there in the distance, we can actually make out the shore. So I think we got a thumbs up for our operations this morning. And let's see, you can see the seabird behind me there. Just out here in my Zodiac, getting ready to go explore around a little bit, look for some birds. The last couple of days have been pretty spectacular. We've seen all kinds of amazing birds in the mangrove systems. Kind of common suspects of snowy egrets and green herons and frigatebirds, but also a couple of surprises. We saw an eared grebe and just other great birds out there. It's been amazing. Yeah, great egrets as well, hanging out in the mangroves, great blue herons. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome. I'll splice some of that footage in here, and I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. It's been quite fun to do this kind of second long form style content. So if you're enjoying this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy some of this glimpses of Baja California Sur. Let's go, yo! All right, so today we're out here in the Boca de Soledad, which is just north of Puerto Adolfo Lopez Mateos. You can see the visibility is not so good. There's this advection fog that comes in from the Pacific. So we're just out here kind of looking around. You might be able to make out some of the other boats out there, see what we can find. We have seen a couple of California gray whales, including calf-cow pair, which is always kind of fun. All right, so you can see we've got our Zodiacs all kind of lined up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's another one, 5, that's still out. The sun is setting, and our deck team's gonna go up there, up to the top deck, grab the crane, and start picking up these Zodiacs and storing them for the night. But you know, I'm gonna walk along the rub rail, and I'm not gonna film it at the same time, obviously. But this little narrow causeway, kind of hang onto these lines on the way back to the stern of the vessel where you can climb back on. Stoke, yo! Working the rub rail here. Try to get back on the boat. Let's see. Oh yeah. Just added a little challenge by hanging my boat up there. Oh yeah. You got it. She knows what's up. You're famous, Veronica. At the end of the day here, just lifting up the Zodiacs. Got all 5 of them down, so deck team's gonna be working on getting them all back up. right, so we've had some interesting sightings over the last couple of days. We've seen a black-vented shearwater, which is actually a new bird for me. I've probably seen them before, but never really noticed them enough to photograph them and document them. I've contributed that sighting to my eBird list of the day. And we were also able to see this bald eagle pair that we've been tracking over the last bunch of years at a place called Punta Pato, or Pelican Point, which I guess roughly would translate to Duck Point, but either way, that's been a pretty exciting thing to see this far south here in Magdalena Bay, Mexico. Bald eagles, bird that I'm relatively familiar with seeing up in Southeast Alaska, but it's always a pleasure to see them down here. And so yeah, we're just out here, we're stoking, checking out this pretty wild part of the country and lots of biodiversity, and just stoking it. Yo, let's go. Job. Isn't this lagoon spectacular back here now? Heron just flew. All right, folks, so it's been another amazing morning. I have to say the highlight of this morning was seeing a yellow-crowned night heron up at the top of these kind of dead mangroves, and also a bunch of great egrets up there in the sunlight. And it was kind of perfect front lighting, which is something I really enjoy photographing, particularly with wildlife. We also got a bunch of really good looks at the magnificent frigatebird, a couple of males with their gular pouch inflated, and that was pretty neat as well. So always a good time here exploring around the mangroves, and yeah, on to the next day. Let's go, yo. Little short party assignment here, not complaining. Crystal clear waters, pretty warm morning. Just kind of waist deep in the bay here. Pretty stoked. Let's go, yo. All right, just doing a little exploration here on shore. Found these galloping cactus and also this cholla that you can see behind me, and yeah, it's just been awesome. We also saw a black-throated sparrow, which was pretty sweet. Let's see if I can splice some of that footage in. But one of my favorite little shots that I found in here, I filmed it on my iPhone, was secret spot here on Isla Magdalena. Well, it's not really secret, but it's fun either way. And yeah, stoked. We're lifting up our kayaks. See our captain is up there with the tagline, and our chief mate Jim is on the crane. Captain Kennedy with the tagline. That's how we roll on the Seabird Nation. Well, I just want to take a quick second to appreciate you all. It's been fun finding a place to actually share these stories now and receive a little bit of feedback. My journey with YouTube has started in 2010, one of the first videos that I ever made. Maybe I'll share a screenshot of it here, but it was this kind of homemade video, almost honestly kind of like the same type of production style that I'm working on right now with this sort of selfie camera, was of my buddy Josh and I climbing up Half Dome in 2010. And after that, I got pretty serious into filmmaking, traveled all over the world, and got really serious about different tools and things. And this has kind of come full circle, actually. Now I'm here just kind of with this like handheld video camera. I don't even have a microphone on. And but that's been kind of fun as a way of kind of reinvigorating the storytelling and finally finding an audience for these type of stories. So thank you all for being here, and we'll just kind of get back to it. This morning's been an interesting one. We actually caught up with the belted kingfisher and also the mangrove warbler, which was pretty neat. Got some nice photos of them. I don't know if the video clips will be passable to show you, but either way I'll throw some stills in here so you get a sense of what's going on. Pretty awesome morning here. I also realized that it kind of looks like I wear the same clothes every day, which is essentially true. The same life jacket, same hat, same sunglasses, but these videos have been filmed over the course of the last couple weeks. So anyways, I hope you all are enjoying this so far. And if you like what you see here, please consider sharing it with a friend. And that would be great. All right, peace. All right, so we're offshore of Isla Magdalena today. You can see the sun is still pretty high in the sky. Sun protection vibes are flowing. And behind me you can see Nat Geo Sea Bird at anchor here. Had a super successful morning where we found lots of California gray whales and tons of good birds too. Godwits and willets and frigatebirds and brown pelicans and tons of gulls and cormorants, and it's pretty much a bird bonanza. But anyways, out here driving my Zod, getting stoked, yo, let's go. All right, just another day out here in Baja Magdalena. You can see way in the distance behind me is the town of Puerto San Carlos, where we got this whole trip started here. I'm just out in a Zodiac waiting to load some guests here on the Nat Geo Sea Bird. And we're headed over to a place that Lindblad has termed over the past bunch of years Sand Dollar Beach, which is on the other side of a very narrow part of Isla Magdalena that is essentially sand dunes. I walk across that and get to the Pacific Ocean, where you get a little bit of a mighty feel of all the energy coming in on the Pacific. And yeah, just stoked in, dude. Early afternoon, probably the sun's gonna go down a little bit and get a little bit more interesting. Gonna go out and explore with our cameras and just see what we can find. Yo, let's go. All right, so we're just kind of making our way through the dunes here, walking around, sun setting behind us, and looking out for compositions, looking out for little flowers and budding plants, and also trying to avoid stepping on the shell middens. There's quite a few shell middens around here, which is pretty astonishing to think that they're still visible through all of the time, since the indigenous people of this region have subsequently left. Either way, interesting kind of consideration to take as we kind of walk through here. Be careful to not impact part of our human history here. Stoke, yo! All right, so we just made it over to Sand Dollar Beach, which is one of my favorite places to come here in Magdalena Island. We have crossed the island on foot, which sounds kind of impressive, but really isn't. It's just a couple hundred yards across the sand dunes, but you can see the tide is going out, and just gonna have a little walk out into the water, cool the feet off a little bit. Out here with the 100 to 400. Seen a couple of birds flying by, but mostly been focused on the botany, taking lots of pictures of the loco weed and the sea purslane, and just kind of enjoying this wonderful day as the sun gets lower in the sky. And yeah, dipping our toes into the Pacific. It's been a while, but pretty stoked. Let's go, yo! All right, so we've been out here for the last couple of days exploring the mangrove systems, seeing a lot of really amazing birds. I think I've already mentioned to you the massive list of birds that we've seen. But one thing that we saw today, which was not terribly stoked, was a whole bunch of cats at the base of a mangrove system down in the intertidal zone, kind of in the mud. And I think that that explains perhaps why we haven't been seeing as many nesting frigatebirds this year down in Las Tijeretas and some of these other mangrove systems, including here in El Barril, which is not a known nesting site of the frigatebird, but either way, I think this cat invasion has been not so good. It was kind of a bummer to see them all, but I ended up taking a bunch of still photos, which I contributed to my eBird checklist of that day. And maybe that'll spark some type of conservation idea about how to remove the cats from Isla Margarita. And I would assume they're also here on Isla Magdalena. So anyways, kind of a sad story, but something important. I thought it would be important to mention it while we're down here. So we're exploring around here on the shoreline. You can see this is pretty much a high tide where Magdalena Bay has kind of come up to the edge of these mangroves. And we have kind of three prominent mangrove species here in this part of the world. We've got the red mangrove, the black mangrove, and the white mangrove. And the red mangrove is the one we most commonly see closest to the waterline. They're more tolerant to constant inundation of the salt water. And then above that, you can imagine it kind of like a layer cake. We've got the red, black, and white. Above that is the black mangrove, and then above that is the white mangrove. And it all has to do with the tolerance to how much salt water they can have adapted for. So fascinating ecosystem. Occasionally we have breaks in the mangroves and these little beaches like the one you can see behind me. which are kind of cool. And way in the distance, you can see the islands and even the sand dunes, just like a faint little glimpse of the sand dunes. And so kind of fascinating ecosystem here with the marine environment, and then this sort of semi-terrestrial environment, and then eventually up into the dunes and into the mountains. And just a pleasure to be here and be exploring around. You can see the sun shining above me, and yeah, just basically a windless day. Stoke is in, yo, let's go. Well, fellow explorers, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of what life is like here on the Sea Bird on a small expedition ship here in Magdalena Bay. Now, this is a ship I've been working on and off on since 2019. I've had a variety of different roles, including expedition leader and photo instructor and onboard videographer back when we still had that program. And, every year I wonder when will be the last year this ship is in service. The ship was built in 1982, and that's around the similar age that I am, and so we've kind of grown up together in a lot of ways over the last 8 years. And of course, what makes a ship isn't the ship itself, it's the people that work on it. And I've met some really amazing people that worked on the Sea Bird and the Sea Lion, which is their sister ship. The ship itself is still going really strong, and it works really well for what we do. I think it's an excellent platform for exploration and for photography particularly. We have these 5 Zodiacs and kayaks you can see up on the upper deck. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this little expedition here. I'm looking forward to meeting up with the Sea Bird in Alaska this summer and exploring around there, which is one of my favorite places on Earth. Well, all good things have to come to an end, and that typically is a bus. Puerto San Carlos, huge sack of luggage. Same process in reverse. Big luggage energy. All right, so here I am at the Laredo Airport after a pretty amazing 3 weeks down here in Magdalena Bay in Baja California Sur. You can see there's still a little bit of holiday decoration here. But I hope you have all enjoyed this little journey here, what it's like to work on the National Geographic Sea Bird here in Magdalena Bay, exploring this wonderful desert ecosystem and all of the inland waters, and just having a great time here. It's been pretty awesome. And if you've enjoyed this journey, well, share this video with a friend that maybe would enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to subscribe and drop a comment below, that would be amazing as well. So until next time, fellow explorers, peace out.